Various reports are stating that Spurs are still very much interested in Crystal Palace and England star Eze. Fabrizio Romano has stated that Spurs love the player, but now Arsenal and Manchester City are also interested. A 7-figure fee has just been agreed for a 16-year-old Leeds star, and Véliz is to leave Spurs for Argentinian club Racing Club. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Chris Cowlin here. This is another episode of Tottenham News where I'll be going for all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Let's start by talking about Tottenham Hotspur transfer target Eze of Crystal Palace and England. Italian journalist and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has just stated that Tottenham love Eze. He is on Tottenham's list for sure, but no final decision has been made yet. TalkSport have just reported that Arsenal have now added Eze to their list of left-wing targets. Eze, also being considered by the Gunners' North London rivals Tottenham, has a release clause of around £68 million in his Palace contract. Sports journalist Ben Jacobs has stated that the £68 million can be paid in 3 instalments for Eze, and the Times have just reported that Manchester City are now interested in the England international. The Athletic have just reported that Leeds United are about to lose a prized academy asset to Tottenham. Oliver Boast, who played for the club's under-21s at just 15 years old, has scored for England under-16s, has decided to leave. Striker was behind Archie Gray in the pecking order. A 7-figure fee has been agreed for the 16-year-old striker. Now, on Wednesday evening, Archie Gray was deployed as a late sub as England under-21s reached the European under-21 Championship final with a 2-1 win over the Netherlands. The versatile star came on for 2-goal Harvey Elliott at the beginning of stoppage time to help the young Lions see out the crucial closing stages in Bratislava. It was Archie Gray's third appearance of the tournament after the 19-year-old started his side's 2 first games against Czechia and Slovenia. The result means that England are now 1 match away from retaining the title they won 2 years ago. To do that, they must beat 2021 winners Germany, whose 3-0 victory over France in the other semi-final on Wednesday means that the tournament is unfortunately over for Mathys and Wilson Odobert. Both of our front men started for France and Mathys went close to scoring on 2 occasions, but ultimately the Germans proved too strong. Mathys played the full game while Wilson Odobert was subbed on 64 minutes. The final, a rematch of England's 3rd game in the group stage, which Germany won 2-1, takes place on Saturday evening at 8 p.m. TalkSport have just been talking about Tottenham Hotspur striker Véliz, and they are stating the Argentinian side Racing Club are in very advanced negotiations with Tottenham's Alejo Véliz. Racing have already tabled a formal offer to the North London club, and there is optimism a deal can be completed over the coming weekend. The offer is around £3.7 million. The 21-year-old moved to Tottenham from Argentinian side Rosario Central for an estimated £13 million back in August 2023. Alejo Véliz has made 10 appearances for Tottenham, scoring twice in all competitions. The draw for the group stage of the 2025-2026 Vertu, which is the EFL trophy, has been made with our under-21s placed into Southern Group B alongside Bristol Rovers, Cheltenham Town and Plymouth Argyle. The 16 invited under-21 teams from Premier League clubs were placed into previously determined groups of EFL sides during today's draw. Now, the competition, which gives young players a chance to test themselves competitively against senior EFL sides, is initially split into northern and southern sections, each with 8 groups. The top 2 teams from each group will advance to the knockout stages. The Barclays Women's Super League have now confirmed when the fixtures for the 2025-2026 season will be revealed. Competing in our 7th season in England's top flight, our fixture list for the new term will be published on Friday the 25th of July at 10 a.m. Following the conclusion of this summer's European Championships, the WSL will get underway across the weekend of the 6th and 7th of September, while the final weekend of matches will be played across the 16th and 17th of May 2026. Now, my thoughts on everything in this episode. Let's start by talking about Eze, and I feel like I've been talking about Eze all week on all of these episodes. I haven't changed my mind. I definitely want Spurs to go out and spend the £68 million on Eze. Ben Jacobs has come out and said that this £68 million release clause could be paid in 3 instalments, which is how Spurs like things to be done. So if that is the case, Spurs should be all over this. And now we're hearing reports from TalkSport, The Times, etc. Lots of different media outlets are stating that now Arsenal and Manchester City are also interested in the Crystal Palace and England star. Let's be honest and frank about it, though. Who is not going to be interested in a player of Eze's quality? I think every Premier League manager, every Premier League team, fans, we all know what he can deliver, and we all know that he would be a crucial player for any team in the Premier League, including Manchester City. And they're going big in this transfer window and showing real intent because, of course, they missed out on the Premier League by a long shot last season, and they want to catch Liverpool up massively, and they are building a really strong squad. Arsenal need a number of quality players to stop finishing second. Of course, they are going to want to go big as well in this transfer window. And Eze, let's face it, he would fit into any one of these teams, Arsenal, Manchester City and Spurs. I just hope that Spurs do get this deal done and pretty quick, because Ben Jacobs has come out and said that this fee of £68 million in his release clause can be paid in 3 instalments, and that is exactly how Spurs like to get things done, paying in instalments. So if this is the case, then it should make it easier for a club like Spurs to get done. But I think that, from what I'm seeing and, the amount of people that I talk to, so many people, so many Spurs fans are very excited about this deal, and they all want Eze to sign for Spurs. I know, obviously, you're never going to get 100%, but the majority I'm seeing, a lot of fans are behind Spurs signing Eze because everyone knows what quality he has proven in the Premier League. A player I've admired since his QPR days back in 2019. Spurs were linked with him back then. We didn't get the deal done then, and we're still talking about a player 6 years later. So I hope that this does actually finally get done and we have a player of his quality in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt next season, because let's face it, we need to climb up the Premier League table, having finished 17th last season in the league. We want to really compete and go far in the Champions League. And also, the board have come out and said, and they have put themselves under enormous pressure, I believe, by Daniel Levy coming out and saying we want to win the Premier League and we want to win the Champions League. This, in all honesty, this should not, it will be a statement signing if it happens, and it will be a marquee signing for us if it happens. But this, for a club like Spurs, especially after winning the Europa League, we should be signing players of this quality every single summer transfer window, in my opinion. I think a lot of people were very excited, including myself, when James Maddison walked through the door. And this is a similar signing, in my opinion. But we should have players like this coming through the door every single summer, to get that excitement going, to refresh the squad, improve the squad, which is so important to improve the squad year by year. And particularly when we've tasted Europa League glory and we've lifted that trophy, we've seen the trophy parade, etc., etc. All of us Spurs fans want to see that again, and we want to taste that glory year in, year out. So players like Eze should be, players that Spurs go out and get every single summer, in my opinion. Now, Spurs are about to sign Oliver Boast from Leeds United, just 16 years old, and Spurs will be paying at least £1 million for him, according to The Athletic. Now, Spurs have been identifying a number of targets, at youth level, academy level, and then putting them into their under-21s and development squads. And, I'm going to name one straight away, Will Lancashire, when we signed him from Sheffield United. Spurs are very, very good at identifying top talent going out now. And a lot of the Premier League teams are doing this, by the way. It's not just Spurs. They are going out, identifying the top talent and spending money for their youth systems. So this one's going to be an interesting one. Alejo Véliz, it looks like we're going to be taking about a £10 million cut, a £10 million loss on Véliz in 2 years. This one is a weird one for me because we signed him. Of course, he's had a couple of loans. The loans haven't really worked out, but now it looks like he's going to go back to Argentina to sign for Racing Club. This one hasn't worked out. They don't always work out, but to take a £10 million loss on a player of this age within 2 years, it's not good recruitment, in my opinion. And, this definitely needs to be looked at because you cannot be losing money within a 2-year period when a player has only played 10 games for us in all competitions, scoring twice. Now, a couple of people actually queried it when I put it on social media earlier about the 2 goals. He scored one in the Premier League for us away at Brighton. And he also scored one in against Peterborough in the EFL Trophy. That does actually count as a competitive game. But I'm going to say it again, and I keep saying it on every single episode. This transfer window should be about experienced players and building this squad for next season to give Thomas Frank the best possible chance of finishing in the highest possible place in the Premier League table and take us far in the Champions League and fight on all fronts. Those were the words the board used. Those were the words that Daniel Levy used in a statement. We want to be fighting on all fronts. So give Thomas Frank the players and the tools that he needs. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you listen to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Stay safe and well. Enjoy the rest of your week. Come on, you Spurs.